Day 74. I'm reading If God is Love, page 76. Empathy walks hands in hand with grace. As long as I guarded the gates of my life carefully, allowing only those who were like me into my relationships, my home, and my heart, I could find reasons to be ungracious. As long as I allowed hate, pain, fear, and pride to keep others at a distance, they remained strangers, different, and therefore a threat. Only by befriending neighbors, strangers, and enemies do we begin to understand and love them. I am often asked how God can love every person. God loves every person because God knows every person. C.S. Lewis writes, "If you are a poor creature, poisoned by a wretched upbringing in some house full of vulgar jealousies and senseless quarrels, saddled by no choice of your own with some loathsome sexual perversion, nagged day in and day out by an inferiority complex that makes you snap at your best friends, do not despair. He, God, knows all about it. You are one of the poor whom He blessed. He knows what a wretched machine you are trying to drive. Keep on. Do what you can. One day, perhaps in another world, but perhaps sooner than that, He will flinging it on the scrape heap and give you a new one. And then you may astonish us all, not least yourself, for you have learned your driving in a hard school." Many of us find it easy to judge and hate because we've not made the effort to know and understand. We assign people to hell who've spent their lives trying to climb out. Our judgments aren't based on knowledge, but on ignorance and prejudice. Yet, in my experience, the more I know of individuals, the less I feel able to judge them, and the more I am able to be gracious. Of course, sometimes we don't know what causes people to do what they do, and we never will. Still, empathy doesn't require specific knowledge, but the understanding that each of us fights our hidden demons. Many years ago, a woman phoned my home wanting to speak with me. I had avoided her in the past because of her gruff demeanor. She seldom smiled and was unusually brusque and curt when I tried to engage her in a conversation. I'd assumed he didn't like me and was surprised to hear her voice when I picked up the phone. Her husband, she informed me, had had multiple affairs over the course of their marriage. That day, she'd learned of another affair. As she spoke of her husband's betrayal and her pain, I encouraged her to divorce him. That was easy counsel for me to offer. I didn't know the man, and after listening to her, I didn't think well of him. For whatever reason, the woman declined to heed my advice, choosing to remain with her husband. Several months later, he began attending church with her. Although she appeared to have forgiven him, I still bore a grudge and would occasionally insert barbed warnings against adultery in my sermons while glancing in his direction. Apparently, he didn't take it personally because he kept coming to church. As he changed, so did his wife. A smile replaced her usual frown. In time, I got to know him and discovered, despite his history of unfaithfulness, he was a wonderful man who now seemed committed to his wife. Eventually, we became friends. I've never spoken with him about his affairs. To this day, I don't know the inward compulsions that drove him to abuse the love of his wife. I probably will never know. But then, empathy isn't just about knowing all the sordid details of another's life. It is about remembering our own faults and failures and realizing others have theirs. It means rejoicing with those who rejoice and mourning with those who mourn, even when what they mourn is their own inability and weakness. Having never had an affair, I found it easy to judge a man who did. But grace requires we be as patient with others as we want others to be with us. I once sat at a spotlight after one night stand and grieved my inability to change my sexual behavior. Grace assumes that deep in the heart of every person is the desire to be redeemed, especially from the hidden demons that torment and degrade us. A belief in the ultimate salvation of every person is more than simply speculation about the afterlife. It is a declaration of God's work in every life, in the here and now. It is a commitment to sharing that passion and participating in God's gracious activity in the world. It is being confident of God's ability to complete the work of God has begun in every person. It is realizing how our acceptance of others plays a part in their transformation. Believing in the salvation of all person changes how we perceive God, ourselves, and those around us. It alters the way we live in both the profound and mundane. It has the potential to make us better persons, citizens, friends, children, siblings, spouses, or parents. It is a belief that matters. Okay, I should stop here. Please correct me if you can. Bye.